So, howdy, and welcome back. So, this time, I've explained the 4 game manager now to some extent, and just a quick recap. So, basically, it acts as each of the tiles on the floor, and once each of those tiles is the correct color, then it says, hey, this game is complete, and so it sends that up to the puzzle manager. The puzzle manager's like, oh, this game is complete. And there's a bunch of scripts that is the logic behind knowing if it's the right tile and how to change the tile and when to activate the game, or the puzzle, I should say, and when to deactivate the puzzle, which I explained in the last video. But in this video, I'm going to go ahead and explain the Skull Game Manager because I feel like that's the second easiest one to explain, as it's relatively similar to the 4 Game Manager in some ways. So let me go ahead and open up Paint real quick and show you some logic about it. Alright, so in the Skull Game Manager, basically inside the game, there is a shelf at the front of the room, and on each of those, on that shelf, there are 4 colliders, or sorry, 6 colliders. So, put the 6 colliders on there real quick. Alright, so there are 6 colliders that can detect when a skull is inside of them. So, anyways, we'll just use little circles as our skulls. So, make them red because it's cool. So there's 4 skulls, and basically on 4 of these colliders, I'll use green to denote this, there's a little script that is looking for a specific skull. So, and inside that script, basically what it says is whenever something enters the area, then, which is that little area right there, whenever something enters inside that detection center, then check its game tag. So check tag, and you want that tag to be either skull, it'll be O1, O2, O3, or O4. So each of these skulls have a little tag on them that just have their number. So that would be like O1, that would be O2, O3, O4. And so you can change outside in the whenever you run, before you run the game, inside the editor, you can set each of these scripts to look for a different tag. So you could say this collider is going to be looking for the O1, and so anyways, so that's how that works. So this skull would need to go in this box, and let's say like this could be O2, and let's say that this is the O2 location. So anyways, so basically you just got, so this skull would need to go in that box, and this skull would need to go in this box. And once that happens, if the correct skull is in the correct box, then it sets the correct skull boolean. There's a boolean that'll say if it's correct skull or not to true, and it starts out as false, of course, because none of the skulls are in the correct spot. And so once that's set true, then the manager, there's in the update, it's looking for each of the tags, so 1, 2, 3, and 4, each of those colliders with those tags, it's looking for all 4 of them to be true, once that happens, then it sets game complete to true as well. And so then that goes back up to the puzzle manager. So then this one would be true after all the whittle skulls are true. This one's true, so that becomes a true value up there as well that says the skull game is complete. And then one more logic thing, because right now how we have it is you could just take one of the skulls and you could just run it through this box, and then I could set it over here. But this would still say true because it just says when it enters the area. So we also have to have another logic set that says whenever it leaves the area, you check the tag, and if it was the correct tag and the correct tag left the area, then you need to then set it to false. So it will only be set true if the correct skull enters, and so if the correct skull leaves, then it will also be set to false. And so I'll go ahead and show you my code for some of that as I pull it up here. Alright, so here's the skull game manager. Like I said, it can access the 4 skulls that way, so it can look at their game tags. And then these are the booleans, and this is just for the update to check if each of the skulls is in the correct position. And then this is the boolean that is connected to the puzzle manager, for the whole game, to let it know if this game is complete or puzzle is complete. Alright, and so as you can see at the beginning, this is set to false because the game is not complete yet, the puzzle is not complete. And then you have this boolean, and this boolean accesses each of the skulls, and it gets the child of one of the skulls because of how the game object is set up. And inside that child is a script that is called the skull holder, and the skull holder is those it is these little colliders, these gray boxes. Those are the skull holders, and that's the green triangle, which is the script that's attached to it, and it lets it know if it's the correct skull inside of its box or not. So once all the correct skulls are there, then this says, alright, if this is the right skull, and this is the right skull, and this is the right skull, and this is the right skull, then you beat that puzzle and you set the skull puzzle to true, and that'll communicate with the main manager of each of the games. And so I'll go ahead and show you the logic for the skull holder as well, which is right here. So anyways, and this is on each individual box that actually needs to check for it. So as you can see, whenever it enters the area, then you're going to check the object that entered. You're going to check its game tag, and if it's the correct game tag, which you search for up there, that way so you can change it for each one. You can set that in the editor and say, like, set the string to like skull 01, and that's all it is inside the editor. And so it checks if this string right here is the same as the string gotten from the game object's tag right there. And so if it is the right one, then we set it true, and then if it leaves and it's the right one, then we set it to false. And basically the Skull Game Manager just listens to those and sees if it's true or false. And so this is a child of this one. And that's basically how it works. So each of the individual colliders, lets it know if it has the right one. This one listens to all four of those and says, hey, all four of these are the right one. So this one is complete, and it sends it up to the puzzle manager, and that would be this game manager right there that it's listening to. And it looks at this Boolean right here and says that, yeah, it's done. So, and that's it for the Skull Game Manager, and that's how it checks all of that.